Okay, good evening. We'll just wait for 2-3 minutes and then we'll get started. We'll just give 2 more minutes, guys. Guys, meanwhile, whoever registered and made payment, if you can just send me your email IDs, right? Either in the chat or in the WhatsApp group. Better it will be there. If you give it in the WhatsApp group, it will be easy for me so that I will remember it. So if you can just send me that, I'll give access to the tribe once the session is ended today, guys. Yeah, please give your email IDs. Fine. I think it's 7 minutes. We'll get started, guys. I'll share the screen. Okay. What we'll do today is uh, I'll go and take a random topic from the course. Okay, just for the guys to understand the teaching style or the way you will learn the topics. Right. I'll just take a random topic and then I'll go over the for the next 20-30 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
I'm getting an echo. Not sure who is. I'll try to
Hi,
mute them.
sorry. I'm just a little confused. A random topic as in?
From our from the list of topics what we have, right? Like heap dump or thread contention. So from our
But it
engineering
would,
topic,
sorry, it would help if we follow a sequence, right? Otherwise, it will be just
no,
very
no.
difficult to
Yeah,
comprehend.
uh, yeah, I understand. So the sequence will start from tomorrow. Okay,
Okay,
we will go
all
with
right.
yeah. We'll go with whatever I am taking is will not be disconnected from whatever I'm going to take tomorrow, right? So if I go over to the course content quickly, okay. So from tomorrow we'll get started with these from Java basics,
Perfect.
JVM basics, and all these things.
Clear.
Now,
Yeah.
just for others to understand the teaching style and all these things, right? I'll go with the random topics. What I said.
Okay. All right.
Sure. Okay, so next 20-25 minutes, let me go over the thread concepts, thread contentions. Uh, uh, how do we go and configure the threads? What are the various problems we might face when threads are not configured? I'll just go over it. And then after 20-25 minutes, we'll take some questions. And then what I will do is there are a few people who have already registered, right? Wanted to know how are we going to set up this Java application. I'll probably go over that in the next the 10-15 minutes. Okay, fine. Now, I was saying that yesterday, when it comes to your in general, right? You take any technology in general. The objective of any engineering is to um, optimize your CPU, optimize your memory. Right? At the end of the day, your host, your mission infra is going to have a limit on number of CPU power and then the RAM. Right? So your application should optimally use it. Your application should optimally use a CPU and memory. It is obviously it is going to use it, right? We cannot avoid it. But how optimally we use it, it is going to increase your capacity. Right? End of the day, uh, the optimally we use these resources. What will happen is instead of say 500 or 600 concurrent users from a one machine, we can optimally if you use it will improve your capacity to say 1,000 users. For an example, right? So if it is not optimized, then you will end up using your machine only for 500 concurrent users. If it is properly optimized, then it will scale up to 1,000 users per a machine, right? Which means if your requirement is 10,000 concurrent users, then you would need only 10 machines. Otherwise, you would have need 20 machines. which means you're going to pay additional cost for those 10 machines. So end of the day, it is all about cost savings, right? We don't need to spend unnecessary amount to AWS or GCP or Azure. Just because they provide machines on demand, we cannot go and keep paying additional money to them, right? So that is the ultimate objective, to save your infra, to save the cost, which means how effectively you can use the resources is the objective of any performance engineering. Okay. Now, so when it comes to your web application, and you can just assume the threats are going to be the kind of task handler, right? It is going to handle your request. It is going to handle your task, correct? So threats are going to be on top of your OS or on top of your application server, which is going to receive a request, and its responsibility is to go and execute the code and give back the response back to the your user. Just a task handler. Okay, just think the task handler. Or I have this a famous analogy, right? You might all using the food delivery apps, right? Like your Swiggy and Zomato. Okay, and there are two parties, right? One, you have your restaurants, and you also have your people who are ordering food, right? um, so to for you to better understand this thread concept, right? I'll just use this comparison, not a like to like comparison, but for us to remember this concept, I'll use this analogy. Okay. Now, uh, from home, you take your mobile app, and then you order food, correct? And the request will be placed, and the corresponding restaurant will prepare the food, and then once it is available, a delivery person will pick the food, and then he will deliver it to your home. That's how that cycle works, correct? Now, there are going to be many people deployed by Swiggy to pick the order and then deliver it, right? So there can be 5 people or 10 people. Okay. So now, at the beginning, right? Maybe in the evening, 6 p.m. or 6:30 p.m. when the restaurant opens, or when the traffic is going to pick up, all these Swiggy people are going to be in a kind of idle state, right? They will not receive any orders. They will just wait. They will just wait for the orders, or they will be in the idle state. Okay. Now, when a person is going to order, it will be Swiggy will receive the order, and it will be request will be sent to your restaurant, and then also it will assign that task to a particular delivery person, right? A task will be assigned to a delivery person, so that delivery person become from idle, you will become to a you'll go to waiting, right? You'll be waiting for the food to be ready. Once the food is ready, it you will become busy. You will receive it, and then you will go and deliver to the particular customer. Correct. When in parallel, if there are multiple such orders, other it will get assigned to the other people who are idle as well. Correct. So this is how the cycle is going to work. The delivery people is going to be there waiting for the orders. Once it is assigned, it will go to the restaurant, pick the food, and then he will deliver it. So this sequence will continue. Right. If there are too many requests, obviously the wait time for a customer is going to increase as well during the peak period. Right. So what they will do is, for the peak period, they will probably employ more people, right? Maybe in the afternoon, around 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., there will be only 5 people or 6 people deployed. Maybe in the evening, late evening, there will be 15 delivery people, right? So to handle the traffic, Swiggy will employ more people in the late evening and less people in the afternoon, right? So that's how the Swiggy or Zomato operates, right? Now, let's come to our application thread concept. Okay, so in the application threads as well, your threads will be created. Okay, when a JVM starts, when application starts, there are going to be 5 or 10 threads that are going to be created, similar to 5 or 10 people who will be waiting uh, 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 in Swiggy business also opens, right? And the business also opens. Similarly, when application is started, a JVM is started, there are going to be some 10 threads that are going to get started along with the JVM. And then they will be just be idle. Whenever there's a request coming from, say, Amazon.com, like login or search product, a request will get assigned to this thread. So thread will become now active. It will become from idle. It will be busy now, and it will execute the code for that search or place order. And once the processing is completed, it will deliver that response back to the user. Again, it will go back to the idle state. So there will be multiple threads picking multiple requests, handling multiple requests parallelly. Okay. Now, to handle the peak traffic, right? In application as well, we have this smart way of handling the peak and non-peak hours, like Swiggy, right? Here also, you can specify, I need, say, 50 threads minimum, 100 threads maximum, which means when applications JVM starts, 50 threads will be created, and then it will start receiving the request. At some point of time, when your threads are going to be, all the threads are going to be busy, or maximum threads are going to be busy, then your server will go and create 51, 52, 53, 58, 60, 70, 90, up to 100. Okay, so to handle the peak traffic, your depending upon the configuration, whatever you have given, your server will automatically spin additional threads. And then back when we are back to the off peak hours, when the traffic is less, then again it will go and kill those additional threads as well, from 100 to 90, 80, 70, 60, up to 50. So anywhere between 50 to 100, your threads will be created and destroyed. Okay, so which means a thread will have different states. Thread will be in idle state, thread will be in busy state, thread will be in waiting state, and this is also called as a thread getting blocked. I'll tell you in detail about the blocked state and all later. But in general, these are the various states of your threads. Okay. What I'll do is I'll just show you visually how these thread states are going to look like. Okay, we'll use a tool called JVisualVM. Okay, to know how these threads are created and destroyed, and then how it moves between various states. Will visually look into it using the JVisualVM. Okay, so for that, what I will do is, let me go and start my, first of all, my library application. So if I go to Tomcat, and then if I go to my configuration folder and go to the server.xml, okay, and edit with the notepad. Okay, now if you come down here, if you see here, there is something, a configuration called minimum thread and maximum thread. Okay, now what you're saying to your JVM is, when the JVM is started, when you go and start your Tomcat, okay, what you're saying is, give me 3 threads minimum, okay, and maximum go up to 6 is what we are instructing to the your Tomcat server. Okay, it can be 50, 100, it can be 100, 150, 200, 250. The logic or the uh, uh, what to say, the numbers, what you have to configure, whether it's 100 or 150 or 200, that is part of your JVM benchmarking. Okay, we cannot just go and say that use 200 threads or 500 threads. You cannot just give 1,000, 2,000. That's not the advisable one. There is a concept behind arriving this number. We call it as a JVM benchmarking. It depends upon multiple factors. We have a separate session on JVM benchmarking. It depends upon your requirement, your response time SLA, your heap consumption, your CPU consumption, um, your underlying RAM, underlying CPU. All these various factors we will consider. We will run some iterative test to come to a conclusion that, okay, we would need 200 threads, 4 GB of heap to meet the requirement of your NFR. Okay, that's a JVM benchmarking, which we will learn later. But whatever you decide, that number will go here. Okay, the min threads and maximum threads. Now it is 3 and 6. Okay, I'll close it, and then um, I'll just go back to the Tomcat, go to the bin, and then I'll go and start it. I think it started already. I'll close this. Okay, fine. So it is started. Now what I will do is, okay, let me go to the JVisual VM. JVisual VM, yeah, will start this. Okay, now automatically when I open the Visual VM, it will show all the Java application that is running in my machine. So it is showing my Tomcat directly. I'll go and select this Tomcat. Okay, and then go to the threads. Okay, so in the threads, if you come down, you will see our Tomcat is running in 8083. Okay, in 8083, there will be executor threads. Executor 1, executor 2, and executor 3. Okay, now we have given 3 as minimum. Okay, so in 3 as minimum, all 3, if you see, it is in a kind of an orange color. Orange color means it's a parking state, which is idle state. So there are the tools might give a different naming to this, but in general, it is called as idle state or parking state. There is no request coming in, so all the requests are, all the threads are in parking state. Okay, now let me go and do some navigation. Okay, I will go and open my Jmeter. Instead of I doing it manually, I'll just open my Jmeter script. I'll just with one user or two user, I'll execute the e-library script what I have it. Okay. Just go and execute it for one user or maybe two. Okay. Now let's go back to the Visual VM. Now we'll slowly see that, okay, executor 1 going into a green, gray, light blue, and then second thread is also going to green, light blue, gray. So it moves between different states of thread, right? Green is running. It is actively doing some processing. Gray is sleeping. For some reason, thread is sleeping in between. Again, it goes back to the idle. Again, it is a light purple or sorry, light blue is there, right? That means monitor state. Monitor states are kind of a blocking state. A thread is getting momentarily for a few milliseconds or a few seconds, it is blocked. Okay, so a thread is moving between various states from parking to running to sleeping to monitor. It moves across, right? Now, if you see, there are a lot of orange still parking. It still goes to parking state because we just executing with a two concurrent user, right? So it is not completely busy. Now, yeah. Now what I will do is I'll go and stop the test. Okay, and then I'll go and increase the user to say 5. So now what you will see is, again, you will see the request coming in, but now all the 3 will turn to be busy. Okay. Now executor 1 is in sleeping, executor 2 is in parking. Now it is again become active. So you will see that 3 threads will not be enough now. Okay. Now what will happen is automatically your Tomcat will go and spin additional threads for you. Let's go and sort it. So if you see here, executor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 threads are created because there are multiple concurrent users are running from Jmeter, it is 5 concurrent users. You need more threads for handling the concurrency, right? With less threads, it is not going to handle all the requests coming from 6 concurrent users. So since there is a flexibility available, your Tomcat will go and spin additional threads. Now, let me see if the response time is available somewhere. Yeah, if you see here, response times are like 5,000, 6,000, right? Now, pretty much 5,000, 6,000, and then uh, coming down, it's all 6,000, 5,000 range, right? Your login view library in around 5 seconds, 6 seconds. Correct. Now, if I go and increase the Jmeter um, concurrency from 5 users to say 10 user. Okay. Now, to handle 10 concurrent users, your Tomcat might not be having enough threads. What will happen is automatically your response time now will increase. Okay, let me stop this. I'll clear this. Okay, now I'll start this. Okay, now if you see slowly, all the threads, the additional threads will not be created. Only it will be 6 only. Okay, and all 6 will be either be running or will be sleeping or it will be in a monitor state. So 6 threads will not be enough. Now what you will see is slowly your response time will increase from 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 6,000, 7,000. It will increase to 8,000, 9,000, 10,000. That's why normally what will happen is during your stress test, right? In projects we do a load test and we also go and do a 2x load test in most of the projects. Now 2x load is when when unexpected load comes, how is your application is handling your load. Okay, so in case if your threads are not enough, in case if your CPU is not enough, or if the memory is not enough, your response time will get shooted up. Okay, so why it is not refreshing? Let me go and check. Yeah, we see here all 6 threads are completely in a busy state, or rather, it's all running. Okay, let me go and manually also open one more local host.
Hi, Satish.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, I want to understand like on what basis threads are getting increased. Like, is there any like number of like we have CPU and memory in terms of auto scaling. So similarly, something we have here, how threads are getting increased automatically.
From 3 to 6.
Yeah.
See, 3 to 6. We do so in your cloud. You have auto scaling, and then
Yeah.
in auto scaling you will specify that if your CPU is more than 80%, or if your memory is more than 70%, uh, you will go and add one more machine or 2 more machine, right? But
Yeah.
here that will be taken care by your Tomcat, your any web service by themselves. If they see that your thread utilization is more than 80%, we don't configure, we don't set thresholds. Automatically it will your Tomcat will handle that by itself. We don't need to specify. If once it feels that there are a lot of requests coming in, based on the number of requests that is coming in and the thread utilization, automatically it will increase from thread from 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 4 to 6, and again it will reduce the response time as well, sorry, threads as well, back to the from 6 to 3. It will handle it. We don't specify any thresholds or we don't set any rules here.
Okay. So in .NET also the same concept of threads.
Pretty much everywhere the web server will handle that. Okay. The major difference between your Java, .NET, Python is in only in Java we explicitly go and provide heap, threads, um, all these configuration in Java, whereas in Python or .NET, right, though there are ways to configure, we generally don't do it. Your .NET framework or your Python will handle it by itself. Okay. At least in .NET, there is a indirectly we can go and specify the threads or heap, but in Python that also we don't do it. Python will handle the memory and thread by itself. So explicitly we don't actually go and configure it. It will be handled by the framework itself in .NET and Python, but the concepts are same. Yes, as from a min to max, it will be handled by the web server itself. I think I don't know why it is going completely. It went to some bad state. I don't know why. Maybe I need to figure out why it is not even responding. Even for one user, it is not responding. Maybe it got stuck somewhere. I'll stop it anyway. But that's how it works, right? So your Tomcat will decide when to increase the threads from min to max, and then obviously when the number of concurrency is going to be high and the threads are not going to be enough, then you're going to have a response time problem, right? And then what we do is we go and monitor this thread utilization. Okay, so if you go to Dynatrace or AppDynamics, you will be able to monitor your thread utilization. Or if you go to the tools like JConsole, even if you go to here, right, you have this threads. Okay, now here it is not explicitly giving you your HTTP threads. It is giving the everything together. Let me do one thing. Let me go to. I'll show you how we can get an exact thread count. But thread utilization is something, one of the metric you will monitor during a load test and stress test. Thread utilization means how many threads are available, how many are getting utilized. Okay, how many are free, how many are busy. That statistics is very, very important for you to know how much your application is using your threads. Okay, that you will get it in Dynatrace and in AppDynamics directly. But if you don't have it, what you can do is you can go to your Java folder. Okay, Java. You can go to the JDK. You can go to the bin, and then you can go from here. If you see there's something called JConsole will be here. JConsole. Okay, open the JConsole, and then select your process ID. Okay, and if you go to your mbins, and then go to the com.sun. No, not this. It will be under the this, and then go to thread pool. Yeah, here. Okay, if you see here, these are the various attributes. See, normally your AppDynamics and Dynatrace, right? They also will go and look into this Java mbins and will to get the data. In case if you don't have access to AppDynamics or Dynatrace, the one of the option for you to get the thread utilization is, okay. See, if you go to memory, you'll be able to monitor your heap utilization here. Okay, I'm telling about the open source option. If you have AppDynamics, if you have Dynatrace, yes, you will get all these things in a very good graphical way in the UI, which we'll learn later. Okay, since I am talking about a thread topic today, I'm just saying to monitor your threads, how many threads are busy, how many threads are idle, how many threads are available. For you to get to know that option, So you can use JVisual VM, but problem is if you go to the thread, right, and there are going to be 50, 100 threads that are going to be created, and you cannot keep a tab on all these threads, because your threads will become very will move from one state to another state very fast. So you cannot visually look into this every time. This view is not going to be possible for you during a load test or for a stress test. Okay, so rather we have to
have
look.
a quick question.
Yeah,
Satish.
please.
Yeah. So here, how did we know that these are threads? You have said that 1, 3 are the threads, right? Under these threads, but how do we know that these are the threads that we are looking for? Is there a naming convention that we know that these are the threads, something like that?
Yeah.
Because you mentioned it 808 report, execution 1, 2, 3 are threads. But how would we come to know that in general?
Yeah. See, in general, when you monitor using AppDynamics or Dynatrace, you don't need to worry about at all. It will know what is that your application port, and then it will automatically give you the data. Right? We don't need to worry about at all. You will not even know how it is getting the data for you. But when you're going to use a tool like JConsole directly as a open source option, okay. So number one, it will be HTTP. Okay, so you will see here, right? There are a lot of naming here. RMA is there, Catalina is there, and then your AD something is there, right? So all these threads are there. All are going to be your Tomcat native threads. There are a lot of background threads that will be running for various tasks, but your application specific threads will be running in a port. Okay, either it will be on 8080 or 8081 or 8082. So you can narrow down with HTTP, and then you'll have a port for sure. And then in that, if you see there are acceptor, async, client, all these things are all some other tasks, some other daemon threads. So you will definitely have a qualifier that you will be able to differentiate for your threads. It will start with HTTP. It will have your port like 8080 or 8081, and then normally you will have some kind of an executor or processor kind of a keyword that will be given by your configuration team. So initially, first time for the application, you may have to probably work with your server team, infra team to know how they have named it. But it will be mostly with HTTP NIO port.
Yeah, that's what we need to know that from the infra team how they named it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
True, but the only thing is if you're going to use a tool like New Relic or AppDynamics, right, for monitoring your thread utilization, there you don't need to worry about it, because there it won't even appear as 8083 or HTTP. It will just say that your application thread utilization. Your AppDynamics or Dynatrace will come to this mbeans, and then it will take the data and it will display it to you in a more user-friendly way. There will be no confusion for you at all.
Yeah, I mean, if we filter with our headers, that would definitely show our
Correct. So if I go to my AppDynamics, right? But in the AppDynamics also there is a catch. I'll tell you what is that. Second. Okay. Now if I go to the application last say 1 month, you go to the application. Okay, if I go to the TS and notes, and then I'll go to my note. Okay, and then if I go to the, so okay, if I go to my memory, right, here I'll get all my all these utilization, GC, GC time, everything, right? But even here, you won't get the thread related information directly. Okay, you have to go to JMX, and you have to go to the JMX metrics, and then in JVMX, if you go to JMX, under web content runtime, automatically it will display my HTTP threads. It won't display any other thing. It will display only the web container threads. And then if you go here it will show you my busy threads, current threads in pool, and maximum threads. Okay, so here you will not have any confusion at all. Here it won't give you all other threads. It will give you only your application specific threads. Okay, because it is your AppDynamics will take care of abstracting the data from the underlying layer. So you will not have any confusion. So with the APM tools, you will not have any of this confusion. But if you don't have an APM tool, in many cases, in projects they might not have budget at all, right? So you won't be having an APM tool. In that case, minimal thing that you will monitor is you will monitor your infra. For infra, you will use Telegraph, Grafana, which we learned later, and you will also use tools like JConsole, where it might not be very user friendly, but still you can monitor your memory, you can monitor your CPU, you can monitor your overall your thread utilization. But when it comes to very specifically application related threads, you have to go to the mbeans and then go to the current thread busy. You have to monitor, you have to look into the value. You have to go into the something called idle threads. There will be something called idle current thread count, number of threads in the pool, and then there'll be something called idle threads also, maximum threads. So you have to go, probably during a test you have to go and execute this, and then look into the min maximum thread count from here, which is still not a user friendly way, but still there is a, still you will get what you need, not in a very easy way, but in a as a workaround. Okay, I'll pass it here, guys. Any of you have any questions, any doubts from the topic what we have seen today? Though it is a random topic, but it is more relevant to our engineering only. Thread concepts, thread states, the blocking state and all, whatever the state what we saw, the blocking state, right? Why it is getting blocked, what's the reason and all, we'll learn later. So far, anybody have any questions? Don't think that it can be silly question, it can be basic question. Don't even think that. You can just feel free to ask questions. Don't think what other people will think about you. We are here to learn. So even a basic thing, silly thing, don't worry. Ask questions.
Yeah, Satish, this feature of thread monitoring is available in all the tools, or AppDynamics. I know. Any other tool is available?
Yeah. Pretty much it should be. See, all these tools like Neuralink, Datadog, Dynatrace, and all. It is all top 3, top 4 tools. Pretty much everybody will have all these basic things. Definitely they will have it. Only the look and feel will be different. The way you will troubleshoot a problem will be different, but all the tools will have all these minimal thing for sure.
What about this cloud platforms, like for example App Insights or CloudWatch? Do we have this available?
That's a different. See, CloudWatch is not an APM tool. See, CloudWatch is a basically AWS is renting out missions, right? So they also provide a CloudWatch where you can monitor your infrastructure related metrics like your infra CPU, memory, your disk utilization, etc. And additionally, it can also read data from your logs. Okay, if you ingest some data to S3 or other platform, you can also go and read it. But basically, CloudWatch is not an APM tool. It is not a diagnostic tool. So you cannot compare your CloudWatch with your APM tool. Number one. Number two, App Insights in Azure, right? It is a native monitoring and diagnostic tool for your Azure native products or natively developed application. That is something similar to your APM tool. So Azure Monitor or Azure Insights, I don't know exact name, but that is an APM tool. There, you will be able to do pretty much everything like what you do it in APM tool. So Azure Monitor or Azure Insights are similar to the APM tool like AppDynamics, but CloudWatch is purely a monitoring tool, not a diagnostic tool.
Okay.
So you cannot troubleshoot response time. You cannot go and do a lot of things what you do it in other APM tools.
Okay. And basically, if you have to define thread in simple words, what
I would say it's I would say it's a difficult, but to me it is a task handler. It will handle task. Okay, the request coming in from my from my end user. Okay, that that request will be assigned. So the task will be handled by the thread. So thread will receive that request, and then underlying code for login or search. Okay, it will get executed. For the executing, it needs CPU. So thread will consume CPU. Okay, and when the code is getting executed, in the code there are going to be variables, integers, string, objects, and all, right? So for every thread, there is going to be a temporary memory also to store those integer character. So a thread is a task handler. It will responsible to receive the request, execute the code. For that, it needs CPU. So thread will consume CPU. Okay, and then it will also have a temporary memory to store those integers or boolean or character. Once that activity is completed, then those temporary variables will get deleted, and that thread will get assigned to another request. So in a very simple term, it's a task handler. This question will come in interview in a lot of places. Explain thread, what it is going to do. You can pretty much give a very layman term definition, whatever I gave, because that's what it is actually doing. Talking very technically, it'll actually going to confuse others. So you can stick on to the definition, whatever I gave.
Yeah. Okay.
Kannamai here. Say if the process is long running, whatever, if I'm working in the application, if the process is long running, I found the CPU utilization is beyond the threshold limit. So in that case, I have to check the thread contention. I have to check the threads, or even if there is a problem in the memory utilization also, I have to check the threads or how it is. In what case I have to identify the root cause, it is related to threads. So because even thread also has, you said like temporary memory, right? So there might be a chance of memory leakage as well, right? That's why I'm asking.
Okay. This is a little complicated for me to answer now. Once you go through my other sessions, you will get the answer by yourself. But I'll try to give a simple answer if possible. I don't know whether it will answer your question or not, because it's a huge topic by itself. Okay. CPU, memory, threads are interconnected. Okay. Your thread needs CPU. So thread and CPU are directly proportional. A thread, say for a login, right? If it takes 5 seconds, it will occupy CPU time of 5 seconds, right? So more response time, a thread will occupy more CPU. Okay, that's why when the response time is going to get reduced, and your CPU utilization also will come down. Okay, so threads and CPU are interrelated. Okay, now when you say that if your application browser is taking a long time, it can be of multiple reasons. One, your thread is not enough. Number of, like whatever we did today, right? So number of thread count is less. That time also your response time will be high. Number one. It could be one of the root cause. Number two, your threads are sufficient, but your memory is not enough. Your heap is not enough. Okay, that time also, what will happen is if the heap is not enough, your JVM will try to recover the heap. So it will try to run a lot of garbage collection to see whether it can remove the unused object. Because of the garbage collections running very frequently, Garbage collection is also by a thread by itself. It will also consume CPU. So more GC it runs, more CPU it will take, because of which also your response time will get impacted. So if the if the heap is not enough, if the heap is full, it will also impact the response time indirectly. Okay, that could also be a reason for this. The memory, whatever I told, temporary memory, whatever I told with thread, is called stack. We don't, it is actually a memory, but that term is called as a stack memory. And stack memory will not be a problem in many cases, because once your login is completed, immediately that stack memory will get deleted. Whereas your strings, arrays, objects which are going to sit in the heap, that won't get deleted immediately. That will go through your GC cycle. Okay, that's the reason I told you need to go through next 1 week, 2 week to understand all these things, so that you will get an answer by yourself. It might look little confusing, all these terminology whatever I have used, but for me to answer you, you have to wait for another 2 weeks at least. Okay, but whatever I said is still a valid answer for a question.
Satish, suppose in my one of the method in Java code, I have written one method, and internally I have created 3 or 4 lightweight threads to perform some operations. And once I get results from all the threads, I'm consolidating data and send using it for further processing. Suppose I want to know that what is the execution time these threads are taking, how I can measure. Is it possible to check how much time it's taken by those threads?
See, from a code perspective, you can get that data from tools like JProfiler. Um, by doing a code profiling, you will know that, okay, what classes, what methods are taking time. Okay, in an hierarchy, say you have it a slash login. Okay, you said you're given a user ID password and submit it, and that then it will come to your server. It will go into the your initial class. From there will be multiple calls in parallel, you're saying, right? So all these multiple calls in terms of your classes and methods, corresponding response time, you can, yeah, the class wise, method wise response time, you will be able to get it through the tools like JProfiler.
Okay, but in AppDynamics, we have a different configurations, right? Application configuration, server configurations, database
Mm-hmm.
configurations, right? AppDynamics, it doesn't help to check all these parameters.
See, in AppDynamics also, if you go to the samples, right, it will give all the samples of logins, for example, right? Login might be taking 10 seconds, 12 seconds, 14 seconds. Okay, so when you go to the sample and troubleshoot the response time, there as well, like JProfiler, it will tell you, okay, if there's an SQL call, okay, there are 3 SQL calls which is taking 1 second or 2 seconds. That might be a third party call. So it will give a split up of your third party calls, your SQL calls, or internally by code in the code itself, right? If there are multiple classes or methods which are taking more time, it will give that distribution. It will give the distribution between the classes and methods and third party calls and the database queries as well. That is available in AppDynamics.
Okay, you mean to say in AppDynamics, by default it uses JProfiler,
No, 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 no. No.
or
See,
else
AppDynamics have their own agents. Like JProfiler have their agent. AppDynamics also have the agent. So what you will do is I'll also explain you how to configure those agents. So your agent will get downloaded into the application machine, and then in the your JVM startup, right? We'll say that we'll go and add that AppDynamics Java agent path. So when JVM starts, it will also attach your AppDynamics Java agent jar file. So whatever you do, that data will be collected by your AppDynamics agent, and it will send it to the AppDynamics cloud. So AppDynamics have their own Java agent to monitor, profile, and collect this data. And JProfiler is another profiling tool, but both are different in many ways. AppDynamics are an APM tool, monitoring diagnostic tool meant for production and peer performance testing, whereas JProfiler is meant only for single user code profiling, which is used for your early performance engineering. Both are different tools, but when it comes to response time analysis, for a single user early performance engineering, CPU profiling, memory leak analysis, we'll use JProfiler. During a load test, endurance test, production monitoring, we will not use JProfiler. We'll use AppDynamics or Dynatrace. That's a difference between a pure play profiling tool versus an APM tool.
Okay. One more thing. When we use these AppDynamics, by default, these application configurations, user configuration, database activations configuration, it comes, or we have to take separate license for these different configuration types.
Okay, that I'm not very
Because
sure,
right now
but
in our project, we are using application configuration in AppDynamics. We have not configured database. I just want to know, means if I want to configure database also to check which queries are taking more time, do I have to get separate license or
no. I'll tell you. See, from a SQL query time, right? What it will do is, once you have a licenses for your Java application for AppDynamics, right? Um, it will monitor your Java application. Whatever that goes out, right? It will know that there are 10 queries that are sent out because it is monitoring the Java application, right? It will know from Tomcat there are 10 queries have sent out, and then the response came back in 1 second or 2 seconds or 500 milliseconds. That round trip time. Okay, so the AppDynamics will be able to report the query, what query has been sent, how much time it has spent. For this, you no need a database license. Okay, what is happening inside your database? Inside your database, what is your caching efficiency? What is your parsing efficiency? What is your overall DB time? What is your IO wait time? To know what is happening inside the database, for that you need a database license. But what goes out of the application and how much time it came to respond back, that you will get it by with the application specific license itself. For that, you don't need any other configuration, or you don't need any other licenses in AppDynamics in any
okay,
APM tool.
you mean to say in application itself, we can get to know that which database query it's taking more time. At least we will get this level of information. But to know more about the database server side, we should have a separate license for database activation, right? If my
Correct.
understanding is
You're right.
correct.
Your understanding is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
But it won't come up with a bundle activation, right?
I don't think so. No, for database, you need to get a separate licenses for sure. Even in Dynatrace also, see, licensing, it differs from organization to organization depending upon the kind of a partnership and all. But definitely, AppDynamics, you need to have a database license. In AppDynamics, we have a one agent concept, but along with that, for database monitoring, also you need something called active gate or something. So you need additional licenses to monitor what is happening inside the database for sure. It's very as simple as that, right? Every component you need to monitor, you have to spend money, you have to spend licensing cost, but the terms and condition will vary depending upon the partnership, depending upon number of licenses you're going to get. Terms, years, it all these things, it matters, but technically yes, it has to be a separate license only.
Okay, last question. We configured our application in application configuration, and in database we configured with database server. Whenever we send any requests, whenever user is performing any operations, the application is server, it's going to monitor at the memory level, but at the same time database also monitor all these queries, whatever we are performing at application level?
No, database will not have any clue on the upstream application, right? Uh,
No, suppose through my application, I'm inserting some data. Okay. At the
mhm.
same time, this database will monitor those queries.
Yes, definitely. Because even
Means
if you go and take a AWS, yes. Both
these
in
happens
both the
parallelly.
places,
That's what my question.
yes,
Does
it will, because see, there are two ways of looking into it, right? From application perspective, you send a request, it will go through a network. Okay, database will be there in some other machine. So the response time reported by your AppDynamics at application level will include your network time plus the DB time together. It will be, say, for example, 1 second. But when you go and look into the database directly with into the database, it will take in only 750 milliseconds. So that this will give you a very good perspective of whether the response time is within your actual database query execution, or is it network. So to answer your question, yes, once you have a database licenses, you'll know exactly the query execution time because you are monitoring inside the database. Whereas if you don't have the license, whatever you see, it will include both the network time plus the execution time. So you will get that both the data when you have both the license.
okay? Can we get past history also in AppDynamics? Means suppose 2 days back, I know that
Yes,
means I found
yes.
some issue, and I want to know that what happened 2 days back and what was
See,
the performance
normally they
memory
will
level.
retain the data up to probably 1 week. Okay. Post that it will get what to say? It will get purged, right? Again, depending upon storage cost, these things will get purged. So normally, yes, 1 week, 10 days data will be there.
Okay. And regarding this AppDynamics, by default we get 1 month of trial version. But I know that within a 1 month we cannot explore all right.
Mhm.
Suppose if I want to extend my free trial version, what are the ways?
No, I don't think. See, for you can still write an email to the customer care. They will try to probably give it, but it is not guaranteed. Okay, so if you're an organization, if you are working for, say, a Comcast, or if you're working for Accenture, right? Then you will have a partnership. Then you can send an official mail. They will try to understand what you're doing and they will extend it. But for your personal, for your training, for your learning, that it depends. They might or they might not. For that you have to send a request to the customer service for extending it.
No, because why I'm asking this question, it's not
Can, can we
compulsory
can we
that.
can we can we
Sure.
take it offline so that others can ask
Okay,
questions if it is
sure.
there?
Thank you,
Yeah, yeah,
Satish.
sure. You just send me a voice note. I can answer it as well offline. Okay, or before the session starts tomorrow, I'll take up your question as well.
Okay, Satish. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Others, before we wind up, anybody have any other questions regarding the today topics, or in general about the course content? Feel free to ask, guys.
Yeah, so not a question, but yes, today I felt extremely lost. Hopefully from tomorrow, once we have the structured sessions, I think I'll be able to understand it better. And that's why I have enrolled for the course. So hopefully from tomorrow
Sure.
onwards, it'll be different. Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Hey Satish, how you have installed application in the J profiler? Would you show it tomorrow?
It will be part of the session, so I'll show it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Maybe after 2-3 days, when we go there, I'll explain you how to configure the um, JProfiler with the application.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Satish, so what will we be covering initially? It will be like complete Java.
Yes. Tomorrow we'll get started with the Java basics and JVM basics, and then we'll go through we'll start with the e-library application, and we'll go over all the topics. That's a plan.
Okay, got it.
Okay, do
So
we
like,
already get the access to the videos, Satish?
Every day, yes. So
Okay.
yesterday's video, you'll get an access today. Today video, tomorrow by 1 p.m. IST, you'll get an access.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
And Satish, what
Sure.
about the like other videos that we have? Like,
Yeah. If you have made registered and made payment, probably in a couple of days you will get video to all the recorded videos whichever the team would have said, right? Like your Java or Python videos, and then yeah, Linux videos. All these things it will be access will be given one by one. So probably wait for, if you have registered and made payment, just wait for a couple of days. They'll enable it for the team.
okay.
Okay.
Is there any prerequisite to like know the Jmeter for this?
Sorry, come again.
Like for this course, do we need to know Jmeter? It's mandatory.
No. But we will use Jmeter just to execute some 3, 5, 10 user test, right? Very
Oh,
basic script only. You can download and use it. Otherwise, Jmeter is not a prerequisite.
okay.
Okay, fine. Yes, we'll stop it here. Again, during daytime, if you have anybody have any questions regarding your current experience, whether it is relevant or not, do reach out to me so that I can recommend you. Otherwise, we'll connect tomorrow the same time, guys. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Satish.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. Yeah. We'll see you tomorrow then. Bye bye.